So, seeing some experience with building web APIs was a prerequisite for this course, I am assuming you know what routing is. Yet, I would still like to revisit this as it's such an important concept we need to know about to implement our outer-facing contract. Routing matches a request URI to an action on a controller. So, once we send an HTTP request, the MVC framework parses the URI and tries to map it to an action on a controller. For ASP.NET Core 6 APIs, the preferred way to set this up is through endpoint routing. And that's achieved with one simple call into app.map controllers when setting up your request pipeline. That call adds endpoints for controller actions to the iEndpoint route builder, but without setting up any specific routes. If you're interested, there's a very in-depth article on this available on Microsoft's official documentation site, which you can find via the link on screen. Okay, so if this statement means that no routes have been specified, that means we need a way to specify the actual routes, i.e. the URIs, to the actions. Important to know is that for APIs, attribute-based routing is the way to go. That, as the name implies, allows us to use attributes at controller and action level to specify the actual routes. We provide these with a URI template, and through that template and the attribute itself, a request is matched to a specific action on a controller. You see that we're looking at the second part of the outer-facing contract now, the HTTP method. And that's because these attributes map to different HTTP methods. The HTTP methods are coming from the HTTP standard. For example, when consuming an HTTP service, our API, to get data, we should send a request with HTTP method GET to a URI that routes to an action on a controller. GET is just one HTTP method. There's more, all with matching attributes. What you see on screen here is an overview of the methods from the standard. GET maps to the HTTP GET attribute, POST maps to an HTTP POST attribute, and so on. Don't worry, no need to learn this from the top of your head. We'll encounter each of these throughout the course. So regard this slide as a nice summary of what to use when. If you're ever in doubt on which method you should use to, say, create a resource or update one, come back to this slide and you will know